you see here today, USAID, and of course, is this interview has been guided by the deputy mission director, and of course, Mrs. Sarah Segbe is also here, and three other young people of Liberia are also on this discussion this morning. But before we begin our interaction this morning, let me just read you a synopsis of what they've come to talk about this morning. Yesterday, USAID kicked off its agribusiness page competition. The competition targets small and startup agribusinesses that have gone through incubation or training supported by USAID through local companies that provided the entrepreneurs with crucial support for business development, financial literacy, managerial skills, and technical assistance to developing their business plans, as well as training in packaging, branding, and marketing. 92 businesses are participating in the business incubation program and the page competition. Over 3 years, that's over 3 days, they will present their business proposals to a panel of judges. Winners will get grants of between $10,000 to $50,000. The businesses participating in the competition come from all 15 counties and are in various agriculture value chains. Why the page competition? Why the grants? Why the focus on the agriculture sector? To discuss those issues and more, we have with us in studios the USAID Deputy Mission Director Rory Tonoru. We also have with us two of the winners who participated in the page competition yesterday. Additionally, we have a representative of one of the local incubators, TRAP Liberia, and of course, I want to take this time to humbly welcome them to the microphones this morning to introduce themselves to the public. Starting with you from a far right, you just introduce yourself to the public.
Good morning. My name is Gerald Hudges, and I am the co-founder and Chief Business Development Officer at Fordsville Farmhouse in District Number 2, Fordsville, Grand Bassa County.
Good morning. I'm Amanda Jala Ajami, CEO and founder of Joint Occupers Incorporated, located in Montserrado County.
My name is Winright Akwe, and I'm the CEO of Tribe.
I'm Jay Sarah, Private Sector Specialist, USAID.
And I'm Rory Donahoe. I'm the Deputy Mission Director for USAID here in Liberia.
Wonderful. Let me begin with you. You are the head of this discussion this morning. How is USAID? Let's begin that way.
No, USAID is doing well. I mean, there's no better way to start the day than meeting with young entrepreneurs and helping them execute their dreams of a Liberia where young people have jobs, where farmers have buyers for their products. And when we see this done in a way that's sustainable, and it's not foreigners coming here telling people how to run businesses, this is about Liberians charting their own path to economic growth. So for me, we're doing great. If every day started off like this, I'd be very, very happy.
Good. And no, we just want to know basically as to by letting us to know about this page competition under the USAID project in Liberia, and how does it impact the lives of Liberians?
Easy. I mean, I think what we're trying to do for the pitch competition is make sure that when we take U.S. taxpayer money and invest it here in Liberia, that we're giving that money to people who can make a difference with that money. And that making a difference often comes to creating jobs. I think what we have here today with Amanda and Gerald are two organizations that are creating jobs for Liberians. And so for us, that's what this is about. It's about creating jobs, creating economic growth, and creating futures for Liberia. And so From our side, the agribusiness incubator that Wayne is here to talk about is a part of a bigger push from USAID to invest in more local organizations that are creating employment, that are creating value, and that are bringing opportunities to young people, not just in Liberia, but this is part of a worldwide movement for how USAID delivers foreign assistance.
How does the incubation process work for you? Okay, I can speak with you from TRAP.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Sure, and really exciting to be here as well, and with two of the winners. Yesterday was the culmination of 6 months of intense hard work, and the process really started off by a co-creation process, which we, together with USAID and ATI, the manager of the project, started with. And we, for at Tribe, we do a lot of ecosystem research and design work. And so what we've learned over time is that there are really three key factors that contribute to how startups can thrive and succeed in the market. And Liberia is of no exception. And so infrastructure, very key. Capital is also very key, and talent. Unfortunately, we struggle with infrastructure development here locally, which have really shortchanged the growth and potential of many young startups. And so two of those things that I would say, have in control to at least manage for now will be capital access and talent development. Although there's still a national challenge.
When you talk about capital access and national development,
Money,
Mm.
money, yes.
Because someone in the village they will not understand.
Oh,
Yeah.
people having money to invest into their business, to pay their people to. So I'll explain simply. In more developed markets, you find that when entrepreneurs have ideas, they can go out there and get money from investors, who give money to say, well, we will give you this money because the idea is great. You go invest this money in your business. That is from the very beginning. Hire people who can do the job, figure out how to build your product, and then figure out how to go and give this product to people who can pay for it, right, in terms. And then now, eventually, as you keep selling your product or you're providing your services, you make more money. The business keeps growing, it keeps growing, and that's how you end up with, in other places, $1 million companies or $1 billion companies. In Liberia, we don't have a market where investors now, people who can say, we'll give you money to invest, we'll de-risk your initial investment. We don't have that market here. And so partners like USAID and other partners have been investing into entrepreneurs in the country. And so that is where the access to capital now is at least addressed to an extent.
So what kind of involvement are you as a TRAP?
So we are an incubator. There are three incubators across the country, and so our job now is to be a vehicle to disperse this funding. But before these entrepreneurs get the funding, we go through a series of different activities. And so that's why I was saying from the very beginning that capital and talent development are the two areas that we're addressing for now. And so, yes, there is a challenge with talent across the country. We do know that our education sector is struggling. But we can actually now expose these entrepreneurs to the kinds of skills, the kinds of experiences, and to provide them the sort of tools that can help them to understand deeply about the market they operate in, the products they have, how to brand them, how to find customers, how to build a team around growing their businesses. So that's our job. And so our process is in three phases. So there's the incubation phase. And so incubation is where we provide training. We also work with them on a one-on-one level to figure out their financial management, to figure out their product development, to figure out the branding. And so after the phase, once they receive the money, the next phase is called validation. That is now just to take the money and take your business, go to the market, sell your product to the customer, find people who you can hire to work with you, and then go out there and see if this product and this business can actually grow.
Do you see that really working for you as an institution?
We've seen that work in the past, and so we've taken some of those learnings to apply that to this incubation. For this one, I can't speak to that because it's a learning process. And so after validation, then ask me that question. I can tell you all we learned. And
but you foresee something workable.
Absolutely. These concepts, we've seen some of them are really great, and so we're excited to see how they are going to test in the market. So beyond the validation phase, now we're going to startup phase. So that's when we say, well, we've trained these entrepreneurs, we've exposed you to resources, you've got the money to invest, you've tested the market. Now let's go and find more money so that you can continue to grow the business. So that's the final phase of our process.
Okay, I will come to Mr. Sarah Sibley, but let me hear from some of the winners because they are the direct beneficiaries of what the USAID is involved with in Liberia. So let me begin with this my brother. You said the name Gerald.
Gerald.
Gerald. Okay,
Yes.
Gerald Hodges. Gerald, talk to us. How did you come aboard? And give us a bit of understanding about the project that you are running with, and how did you come over?
Okay, great. So again, I'm Gerald from Fordsville Farmhouse. Basically, our vision is to create a sustainable farming community where people are inspired about agriculture, where they can learn about agriculture, and they can ultimately become food producers. In Liberia, one of the major challenges is food security, obviously, and we have so much green vegetation. We have a rich soil, but not many people actually go into farming. And so, over the last 2 years, we've been looking for opportunities to learn about agriculture, but also invest into agriculture and ultimately transform the lives of people within our community. And so, that's how the vision or the idea of Fordsville Farmhouse was started. And so, we've been looking forward to getting access to funding to be able to do that. But in Liberia, the traditional means of getting access to funding is through banks, high interest loans, and you need to obviously provide collateral. And so we've been looking for opportunities internally or locally as well as externally. We came across the application process this year was posted online. And so we read through the application process and we felt like we're eligible enough to be able to apply because that's important. You need to be eligible to apply. So then we applied. There were a series of questions, really rigorous questions that were asked about the business idea, our team, our financials, and actually what we wanted to do. And we had to address all of those questions. Again, like I said, it was a very rigorous process of actually vetting the ventures that ultimately became part of the incubation process. So when we applied, we got shortlisted to move to the next phase. And that was like an evaluation, an assessment process where we had members of the tribe team that was responsible for our region in Grand Bassa County. So they went there and saw the property we had and what we had already started to do and what we're intending to do. So there are a series of questions that they asked us. They went on the land, they saw everything that we had, and after that, okay, then we got shortlisted for a training phase. So we did the first training phase that was focused on pretty much, developing our concept or our business idea further. And then we had another round of training. And in between that process, they were providing us with hands-on mentorship and coaching as well to be able to refine our business ideas in a way that, we cannot think about just $1,000 or $2,000. We're looking at now making hundreds of thousands and ultimately becoming potentially a company or a venture that's going to turn over millions of dollars, who knows, in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years. And so that was the process that I enjoyed the most because they went out of their way to spend. I remember a few days ago, I would say on Sunday night, we had to finalize all of our pitches to pitch yesterday, which was Monday. And I was with the team working, with them up till almost 12 midnight. And I learned that my other colleagues were working until 3 a.m., and so the team went.
It was
really,
a hectic
they
process.
went above and beyond to actually provide us with the support equally across board.
Okay.
So there are no favorite. They say, okay, you know what, we're favoring this person. No, they provided the support to everyone across.
So you didn't have any connection with any of the judges.
Oh no, the judges were independent panel of judges, who we actually met for the first time yesterday. But I mean, I'm referring to Tribe and the team
Okay.
that, incubated us, provided us with the training, the mentorship, and the coaching. So what I'm trying to say is that they work hard, they work above and beyond, like 2, 3 a.m. in the morning, all of us making sure that we're prepared enough to be able to pitch our ideas, because I think ultimately their goal is to ensure that all of the businesses that they've shortlisted over the last 6 months actually succeed in the end. So that's one of the things I would say I'm super grateful for not only the funding, which is important, but also for the mentorship, the coaching, and really helping us navigate through the waters of starting and growing a business in the context here of Liberia, where as he said, skills are hard to find, but also funding is also hard to actually get, and it's very competitive to actually get funding to be able to make your dream come to life. So I'll just stop there.
Okay, let me hear from Amanola Jala Ajami.
Amanda.
Oh, Amanda. Okay.
Jala Ajami.
Okay, that's good. Now, give us your own side of the story. How did it all happen for you?
Okay. So Joint Occupers Incorporated is a health and wellness business. Um, we started in September 2019 as a juicing and cleansing business, online business. And since September 2019 to present, we've grown massively. And one fact about this business is we started with just 40 US dollars
Hmm.
on fruits. And yesterday in my page, I mentioned that as of our last year cost summary, we were able to raise a total gross revenue of a little over what we received as the award from this grant. So that has been very impressive, the growth. But along all of this, I realized that we needed a lot of knowledge in business because I am an electronic engineer. I got into business without even knowing I was getting into business. And I grew and learned while experiencing whatever I went through during the business, during my time doing business, during working with customers, marketing, and trying to grow my brand. So one of my customers actually reached out to me and said, have you seen that you say is giving out a grant and they're having a workshop in Nimba County tomorrow. You should be there. I believe you can make it. And so I went over.
That was in 20,
That was this year.
this year, okay,
Yeah,
2023.
2023.
Yeah.
And I was like, I have to be there. And I went there. I heard all the great ideas. I was excited. I felt relieved knowing that, okay, this is something that can actually help me achieve my goals. Because the ultimate goal is to provide healthier alternatives to the processed unhealthy food that are in abundance on our market. We complain about eating unhealthily. We try to encourage people to eat healthy, but how can they eat healthy if we are not providing the alternatives? So, for example, if I'm telling you, okay, maybe you want to get on a diet for weight loss, and as a nutritional therapist, I'm telling you, you cannot have this, you cannot have that, you cannot be having chips for snacks, you cannot have a whole bag of chips for snacks, you cannot be eating this much oil or salt or sugar.
Mm.
But what alternatives do you have? So that has been our mission, to provide these alternatives for our customers by um, producing some seasonal fruits, packaging them, freezing or drying, by providing healthier meal options for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, by providing meal plans for customers, and also by working with hospitals for their inpatients, schools, environments. So it has been a great journey. It has been rewarding so far. And with this grant, I can assure you that it's only up from here.
Wow.
It's only up from here. At the moment, we have a little over 9 products on the market and some pending products. And these pending products are huge. They're going to make an impact not just in Liberia, but also in the global market.
Okay.
So I and my colleagues were just talking about some of the things that are imported to Liberia. And we mentioned okra. Why is okra being shipped to Liberia? Why is okra sold in the supermarket from Sweden or any of the European or American countries? It's being shipped because we're not producing them. We're not adding any value to that. So if you cannot afford going to the market, if you cannot go to the market to buy it from the market table,
Mm.
you can't have it. But if a Liberian can produce that and have it in the supermarkets, we can even ship it out of Liberia and have it on the global market.
Okay.
So that's our goal.
Okay. I'll come back to you people, but let me hear from Mr. Sebe. I've been knowing him for some times now when he was partnering with the WAPS project in Cari. He's always in the private sector. How you doing, sir?
I'm good.
Yeah, talk to us of how are you going about with your own plan from the private sector in terms of building up the momentum that USAID has been involved with over the period in Liberia?
Thank you. USAID's approach to private sector engagement is kind of a holistic approach, and our major goal is to see how well we can directly interact with these businesses across the country. For too long, we've sat down in the comfort of our homes or our offices and then, work through papers just to talk about private sector engagement. But with the whole localization and private sector blend from USAID, we're now reaching out, getting out to these businesses to hear what some of the challenges are, what solutions they have. A lot of these businesses, the challenges are there and they know the solutions, but they just need a little push, to be able to overcome those challenges. And I think that's the kind of approach we've been taking and continue to take across the country. I'm excited today when I see a lot of young people involved in agriculture. Few years back, no young person wanted to be identified with agriculture. And today, with the value addition, that these young people, a lot of innovation they are applying, it brings to bear that there is a whole revolution of young entrepreneurs, coming up. And in the next few years, you will have a lot of them now looking beyond the horizon and see how they can get most of our products, value added, well packaged, well branded out of this country. And I think it's one of the goals of private sector, trying to see how you commercialize the agriculture sector through the private sector for sustained economic growth. And that's the goal of USAID to see how we can partner with the government in every way.
The way I was coming, I was almost there. How is a partnership like?
Yeah, definitely.
Because you
The Minister
open,
of Agriculture was at the event yesterday. I mean, she always like available for all of our engagements, and she was very excited with what she saw and what she heard. These are wonderful business ventures. Unfortunately, everyone could not win. I mean, that's a competition, but all of them left with something because once you go through the incubation, from an informal business, you are able to formalize your business. You're able to get the best business development service, and also the kind of managerial skill that you need. Looking at your own financial disciplines, looking at your own internal control system, managerial systems, and whatever. And so they all feel that, hey, we've put our company in a position that we are able to tap into other opportunities. And I think through the Ministry of Agriculture, we've been very, very blessed to have the ministry partner with us in a very unique way to give the needed support to these companies.
okay, Mr. Director, what does USA intend to achieve after all of these initiatives?
I mean, our goal here is to feed Liberia, as as Gerald mentioned. Our goal here is to create jobs, and our goal is to help Liberia, establish its own path for development and to get there. And I think we all know that that means a Liberia that feeds itself. It means a Liberia where young people have economic opportunities, and it's going to mean a Liberia where agriculture is driving economic growth. I mean, this is an agricultural country. And so that's our vision. But we can sit in the embassy and talk all we want about how that's what we want. But it's folks like Amanda and Gerald who are out there every day actually doing it. And we were talking before this. Amanda has 19 employees. That's an amazing number of employees for a relatively new business. And so our goal in investing is to help Amanda and Gerald and the other winners remove the barriers to growth so that they can buy more crops from farmers, so they can hire more people, and ultimately that their products will be sold and will lead to bigger economy, bigger economic growth, a bigger economy, and I think Amanda makes a good point, and a healthier population here. It is heartbreaking to see how much food gets imported into Liberia. And it's heartbreaking to see that a lot of that food is not nutritious. So,
Do you really love our locally made food?
do I can tell you when we are outside of Monrovia and we see the fantastic fresh produce that's being grown and we eat, it breaks my heart when I come back to Monrovia and I can't find that to buy here in town. It breaks my heart every time I return to the city. And so, absolutely, there is fantastic food in Liberia that is being produced by farmers, and there are entrepreneurs like Amanda and Gerald who are working on ways to get those nutritious crops to people who want to buy them. And it's not just me, it's many people in Monrovia, and it's many people up country as well.
Do we have a term limit to this program? I'm talking about the pitch competition. If so, how how do you intend, or how many years project are we talking about here today? Because many people are out there, they want to become winners, like these wonderful winners as well.
Yeah, but I can tell you overall, this USAID's approach of working and partnering with private companies is not going away. I mean, it's a new way of doing business, but this is something we are going to continue. In terms of this specific activity, I can let Cyrus answer that.
Yeah. For this activity, we're looking up to 2026.
2026.
The first
So it's a
cohort,
3-year project.
yeah, the first kind of 5 years, but we've gone like the second year now, and then the last 3 years coming forth. So the first cohort just ended, and then after all of the reviews, pause and reflect. We need to reflect a little bit to see what we got right, what we didn't get right, how can we improve, to be able to encourage a lot of people to come on board. So after this cohort, there will be another cohort run by these incubators. The exciting thing here is that Liberians are doing it for Liberians. And these are all local partners with very good capacity that have been able to champion this and lead it and provide the kind of services to Liberians. So yes, in the next 3 years, we should be wrapping this up. And then we look beyond. And as Rory said, how can we begin to rethink it through and improve whatsoever different development project we want to put together. So yeah.
And I think, Melvin, too, we'd like to see groups like Tribe and Wayne and his team become self-sufficient and independent on their own. Like, the work that they're doing to help other Liberians grow their business is outstanding. And as we heard from Gerald, like, there's a need for this.
Okay.
So we would love to see more incubators, which exist all over the world. Folks who are talented, energetic, but whose mission is to help others nurture their companies. I don't know, Wayne, you want to tell us a bit more about your future? What do you guys think? What's your vision for Tribe?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. It's been a good partnership. But Tribe, for the USAID project, Tribe is a consulting lead for 3 orgs. And so we're working with Smart Liberia and Yona Liberia as well to design and implement the USAID projects. And as Amanda said, many people, the people transitioning to becoming entrepreneurs without a business background or without having the necessary experience in that particular field is not a unique experience to Liberia. It happens all over the
Is that
world.
hampering the state?
Pardon?
Does it hamper the state?
I don't understand the question.
Does it undermine the progress of the state? Somebody getting into something that they don't know much about?
No. I'll explain. Give me a second. Yeah. So that's not unique to Liberia. On what is our challenge here is that because we have a challenge with education, and so it sometimes affects, because entrepreneurial success is a combination of, yes, great ideas, resilience and courage, but also of intellectual capacity as well combined. In the cases where the entrepreneurs themselves have that challenge, you find people you bring on board to help support that process. But that's why, as I mentioned before, sometimes the lack of capital or money now prevent people from bringing on board people who have the skills and expertise. So in these instances, what happens there is that incubation programs like ours are there to fill and bridge that gap, right? So where the entrepreneurs are at short change, you provide them the necessary skills and exposure to take the business to the next level. And so in many other countries globally, and even across West Africa and mostly East African countries as well, you find a lot of very decent entrepreneur incubation programs that take businesses from point 0 to point 1. And based on that foundation, they can continue growing over time. And so that's the future, is to really have incubation programs, for Tribe particularly, but along with our partners at Smart Liberia and Yona Liberia, to see how we can incubate ideas and take them to market and make them succeed in the market. And we've seen, companies like JPalm Liberia, which is quite familiar across the local ecosystem, that has really demonstrated that with the right amount of investment, and by investment I mean time, money, and talent, but also just the generous support of partners like USAID and the reception from the local market, the Liberian people themselves, to embrace and receive these local innovations. So those are the areas that we work in. But we want to make sure that this is an ecosystem approach. It's not just Tribe creating something in the corner. It's not just Yana and Smart Liberia. It's not just iCampus and Educate, but it's really an ecosystem collaborative approach where we are thinking about building great innovations that we can test and we prove that they work, then take that to skill level across the country and hopefully beyond Liberia as well.
So, how many persons participated in the pitch competition?
We had 20 people pitch yesterday. We recruited 30. We had an application. So Tribe
From across the 15 countries.
from across no, so across our consultant, we manage 5 counties: Montserrat, Bank, Bassa, Riverside, and Sino. And so we had a total of 89 applicants that came through during the recruitment process. We selected 30 after a rigorous process, and I'll explain that in a second as well. And so until the pitch, we had some cutoff points, and so some people were misaligned along different stages. So we had to justice with them. And our approach is that if we believe that you're not at the right position at the right time to move to the next level, we do you justice not to allow you move forward. Especially if we identify that, because that's our job, is to understand the model and see how it aligns with the business. So we want to respect your time and our time as well, and the effort to say, well, you're not ready for the next stage, so let's hold you yet for the next cohort. But we still provide additional support where they need it, and so we move people to the next stage. But also other entrepreneurs also drop for different reasons. We had somebody drop for a medical reason because they had to go through surgery, and other people had other obligations that they felt were more important. Some people had conflict with the day job, and that's another thing again we want to change, is that people can embrace entrepreneurship as a self-sufficient process and not just as a side hustle or something that you do out of a hobby, but really people can see this as the future of sustainability and self-sufficiency as well. So that's really part of our process. So yes, we had 20 people pitch yesterday, and we are awarding 11 people. Yeah. And a total of 315,000 will be
12.
11.
11.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Sorry.
so 11 winners from yesterday, and they will all receive 315,000.
315,000. All of them or each person?
No, everybody.
Everybody.
We had three categories of the funding, and so we have 50,000, 25,000, and 10,000.
Liberian dollars or US?
Really? US dollars. So it's 10,000 category 50 and 50,000. And so people were placed in these categories based on the concept, the ideas, the value chain that they're on, the market potential that they have, and also just the team capacity to also execute on the business. So we really take a holistic approach to assess the business in general and make sure that it aligns with the market that they're working in. And one thing I must mention that impressively, we had a huge participation of women-led businesses in the program, and I give you some quick stats as well. And so we had 60% men and 40% women. So that's impressive, and we're hoping that by next year we can also increase that as well beyond 40%. So that was really great. And so we're able to see that every business that came through the incubation process, at the beginning we had less than 40%, less than 50% that were formal businesses that is registered with the Liberia Business Registry. But as of now, 100% of the business are all registered as well. Some are still pending receipts from the process, but they've all initiated that formalization process. So that was another thing that came out of the business as well. And the women entrepreneurs actually performed very well over time in the incubation by at least 7 points across all the different phases of the program. And we also found that they were also most educated with that background, and they performed even in the final pitch competition last year. The reason I'm saying this is because for me, I'm a technician, and so our job is to really see what are all the factors that inform success of businesses in the country, and then present these cases to partners with USAID and other partners. Say, well, how can we make sure that we are addressing this as an ecosystem approach, and not just giving money out, but really making sure that we are providing other entrepreneurs the right tools, the time, the effort to make sure they succeed. Along the line, we also had the personalized experience as well, as you mentioned. And so up until the morning of the pitch, we hadn't even slept because we had to make sure that everyone was prepared to pitch. And so everyone has, a near, I want to say fair chance, because there are many factors that make experiences, exposure, background. So it's not really always 100% fair experience. But everyone had a near fair chance to present their businesses in a ways that will increase the chances to win as well. And so when we realized some of the entrepreneurs didn't have quite the academic or intellectual capacity to absorb a higher level content, we had to personalize them. And so even to the last minute time, we realized some people might not be able to take, a PowerPoint to present the PowerPoint or talk about the data. I would say, you know what, go up there, just talk about the business the way you're able to, and communicate that to the judges. So we had to really adapt the different processes to
Okay.
make sure that everyone was able to feel
Yeah.
confident in themselves to do that presentation. But it does reflect that, when the country is producing people who have a quality education experiences, that actually is a good factor that can inform entrepreneurial success, and that has been proven in the data we've gotten as well. But that doesn't mean we will obviously dismiss other counties that are far from Montserrat. We know that the country is pretty centralized, and so the farther away from Montserrat you go, the lower the educational access and the quality of education is. And so we've seen that reflected as well in the data. And so the goal now is that we can not just solve the education issues in those counties right now, but what can we do as an incubator to make sure that we still give them the kinds of experiences that can prepare them to succeed in the ways that are best aligned with their counties of origins.
Okay.
Sorry. So sorry. Win,
Yeah, go.
Win said something really interesting. I just wanted to piggyback on. He said local reception by the market, which means you have to, in the context of JPAM, local reception has to do. We have to be able to build Liberia. We have to produce Liberia. We have to buy Liberia. And I just reflect on what we do as a company or as a startup. For us, cassava value chain, for instance, cassava is the second most consumed
In Grand Bassa.
in Liberia. In Liberia, over 80% of Liberians. It is among the top three also globally. I would say among the top three or the top five. In Africa, there's no exception. Even within the sub-region, you have Ghana, you have Nigeria, you have Ivory Coast, and the rest of the other countries, both in East and West Africa, who actually cassava as the major source of food. And in Liberia, is the second staple food, right, consumed by over 80% of our population. And interestingly, cassava alone has over 20 different products that can actually come from cassava. Everything from the leaves that we eat, locally here, to the fruit itself or the vegetable itself, to the byproducts like the peelings that can be used for animals feed, to even the water that comes from the process of actually processing, or that comes from processing cassava, that can be used as starch. So imagine the potential of harnessing this into something that could potentially not only serve as major food for our country and address issues regarding food security, insecurity, but also serve as an income generating opportunity for many people, especially in rural Liberia, and transform their lives and improve their livelihood in a sense that they can send their children to school, they can access better healthcare, they can build better homes, they can have better food, so improve their nutritional condition. So I think that it is important for Liberians to go back to the soil. It's important for Liberians to be able to produce what we eat, to grow what we eat, and produce what we eat. So that's just one thing I wanted to say. We have to be able to all of these different ideas that we're coming up with to develop new companies. We can only succeed if we embrace this. If we, as a people, will actually embrace what we actually produce here in Liberia.
Okay. We will open the lines shortly so that we can interact with the public. But let me hear from Amanda. You are one of the winners. Tell us how it feels like you've been a winner among several competitors, and you emerge so happily, and you just told us that what you got, the grant is so huge. Something good is going to come out of it.
Amanda, call the figure. Though you don't have the money yet, but don't be
No,
afraid.
I won't call Aaron Russell myself. Yeah, so firstly, I would like to say thank you to UCATI for this great opportunity, and to our incubators, because like I earlier stated, I'm one of those individuals who got into business without realizing I was getting into business. I was just trying to solve a problem that was firstly personal, and then I decided, oh, after giving few free consultations, I was like, oh, I can make some money out of this. And it started gradually until today. It's a registered business. with 19 employees and about 7 contractors. So it's only God. And so far, the incubators have played a very instrumental role in this process. I had some serious lapses with financial management, even though my money never gets missing. But I needed serious guidance on financial management, on marketing, and on several aspects of my business. Because over the years, it has been okay, I'm going to sell this for this, and I'm going to make this. And then once I get that, I reinvest into something, make some more, reinvest. And that has been the circle for these 4 years.
Okay.
And so becoming a winner yesterday, we almost gave me high blood pressure, but becoming a winner was so overwhelming. I have faith in myself. I always told Wayne from the beginning of this, I'm going to win. And he was always asking, why do you think you're going to be the winner? I said, because I know. And he tried shaking me down a few times just to, ruffle me. But we're here now. It's overwhelming. I'm super excited. I've got everyone that supported me through this journey. And I couldn't stop screaming at the top of my lungs. Like, we got it, we did it. But it's all thanks to God, thanks to the team, thanks to USAID Liberia, and thanks to everyone that supported us along this journey. And like my colleague said, we hope that these value-added products that we are producing will be receptive.
Okay.
Because if we go through all of this investment, time, and everything, and the Liberians are not receptive to these products, then how can we grow?
Amanda, could you tell us what you're going to do with the investment? Are you going to hire more people? Are you going to buy equipment?
Yes, I actually have a need for at least 7 more individuals, especially youth and women. And this grant is also going to help us to support other actors along the value and supply chain. And with this grant, we intend to get mainly industrial machineries and equipments, and for packaging and branding of our products, for marketing as well.
Okay. I mean, just on a 1 minute. Just on a 1 minute. Excuse me. Just on a 1 minute. Just tell us about your feelings as well. Then we open the lines and interact with maybe 5 persons from the public.
So before coming today, I actually wrote like a short note on it is not how you actually start, it is how you finish. And so we had put in a lot of effort into this process. And during the pitch yesterday, my colleague or my co-partner actually froze after the first slide. And it was just a miracle that, both of us had the opportunity to pitch. And then, I had to take it on from there and complete. But at the end of the day, we were not quite hopeful. However, we were confident that even if it didn't work yesterday, it would have worked next year because we would have still had the opportunity. So whole of last night, it was just a reflection of how God has been, gracious, throughout the course of this year for all of the wins. We are a startup. We just invested in 3 equipments. We're investing in the construction of our facility currently. And through this grant, we'll be able to scale up the equipments and machinery we're supposed to acquire. We'll also be able to procure packaging for gari production, as well as flour production, as well as achike. And so we're super excited and grateful that we're able to impact the lives of the people within our community, because that has been our overall vision, our overall goal as a startup has been to, okay, how do we source from local farmers and empower them to be able to, improve their livelihood, but also impact our community there in Fordsville, which is a rural community as a whole. So we're super grateful to Tribe, to Smart Liberia, to Yona Liberia, who has been, providing mentorship and coaching and guidance over the last 6 months. And we're super grateful to USAID and ATI for providing the funding to be able to make this dream come true. Thank you so much.
So
Yeah.
Is it advisable we take few calls?
Yeah, sure. But before you come in, let me just indicate that the pitch competition continues today. So under the next incubator, iCampus, 30 businesses going to be pitching again, and we hope to get 10 winners from those 30. And then tomorrow, Educare are going to also be leading another pitch competition. Another 30 business going to be pitching, and we're going to get at least 10 winners from there. So in total, we're looking at 30 winners. That will be working over with different prizes and see how it can bloom their businesses
Okay.
in the next few years.
Yeah, Trap.
Yeah, sure. And they're all at Bella Casa Hotel on Second Street. But just quickly, I know we had 11 people win yesterday from 20 people pitching. And one thing that we must acknowledge is that all these 20 people have been incredible. And yes, everyone didn't get the money. But these have been incredible concepts. And one thing that was painful is seeing how we have gotten to hear about these entrepreneurs and understand their business and their passion. And unfortunately, everyone couldn't get the money. But the process of incubation is sometimes not just about the money; it's also about all the other technical and strategy support that we can provide these entrepreneurs. As Jared and Amanda mentioned. And so thinking more holistically about the business, and the money is only the final tool that says, well, you've learned all this, you have now the concept and the process, go and put the money into this. So hopefully, with all of what they've learned, all of what we can continue to build upon, money can just be one piece of the overall puzzle that will already make these businesses succeed in the market.
Okay, so we take a few calls, like 4 or 5, then we get the party comments of our guests. 077 0880514096. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Hello.
Good morning.
How are you?
Morning. Please go ahead.
This is Joe Thomas, and I'm calling from Togo Road, King and Pierce. My question directly is that first of all, I want to say congratulations to the winner and all those serving as incubators and the organizers, and also USAID for this opportunity. My question is, apart from agriculture and value-added materials, can grassroots enterprises that are coming up in the community to provide empowerment that are into service delivery, that bridge production, covers, and also some subsistence agricultural activity? That how can we get involved or even be registered in such a unique process? Because we want to know. Because I have a program running in Lower Mark GB 21 around the Broadneck area. So I want to know how can we be a part of the process from the beginning, or how can we start?
Thank you
so much.
Thank you. Let me see if I can get this person. We don't have much time. Hello. Morning.
Good morning. Let me go to this is Archibald Maclean Runner, chairman for the Labrador Talk Show Call Association, and I do join you from CEO. I want to make you since this morning the comments that I see have been tuned to the radio listening and vividly to the analysis and to the process made by the organization. There's one point we have put it that we made which is very clear. We look forward to a free and fair process in the voting process that new wins but come out with flying color. It shouldn't be a selective process for our Liberian business. Thank you for the opportunity. I think it's my career for you.
Thank you. Thank you. I can take one more, then we just let it be like that. 077-597-8530. 077-597-8530. Of course, let me see if I can get this person. Hello.
Morning.
Morning.
How you doing?
Please go ahead. We don't have time, Chief.
My name is Eugene Joshua, and I'm calling from Rehab Community. I want to commend the Traveler BA for helping local businesses and young entrepreneurs to develop their skills. And I believe that in the next 4 to 5 years, Liberia will be better with entrepreneurs. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we basically we will. Let me just get your party comment. That's you, Hodges. Let me just get a party comment on 30 seconds. We don't have time. Just across the table. Then we'll let you to go this morning.
Great. So again, I just want to be grateful to God for winning, thankful to Tribe and Smart as well as Yona for providing us all of the mentorship and guidance the funding, through USID. It's incredible, the level of investment they've put into us. We are committed, and we promise that we're definitely going to transform that amount into something that's going to not only, grow our business, but also impact the community that we're working in. And finally, I just want to encourage young people in Liberia, go back to the soil farm. I'm not from an agriculture background, but I've been buying seedlings here and there and trying different things, doing my own backyard gardening. So, and it's been really wonderful. I see how incredible agriculture, has made an impact around the world. And I think it's something that we can do. We have the potential to do it. So I'd like to encourage people listening to us, even if it is a small backyard garden, start from there, grow something that you're able to, eat yourself, and ultimately, who knows, grow into a business, and you can feed your community and the country at large.
Okay. Amanda, finally.
So far, I would like to say thank you to the USAATI for the opportunity given to us, and to Smart Liberia Tribe and Yana for the knowledge impacted. And I can assure you guys we're going to make you proud. And we're definitely going to provide healthier alternatives on the Liberian market to mitigate the escalating health crisis in Liberia. And I would also like to encourage all of our colleagues that were on this journey with us. We're all winners. We all have huge takeaway from this process. We gain a lot of knowledge that we can now apply to our businesses. So we're all winners.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Trap.
Thank you. May I just answer the caller's question? She asks whether it's only agriculture. Yes, it's agriculture sector, but it is not limited to just on-farm production or post-harvest production. We are exploring the entire supply chain. And so technology-enabled companies that support agricultural development, we also welcome those kinds of ideas. We looked at storage and preservation, transportation, mobility generally. So these are not specifically produce companies, but they are other kinds of companies that actually work along the supply chain. So any business or any company that works along the supply chain, those are companies that we recruit. And so yes, the process is live streamed today on Spoon TV, I believe. So you can check it out. Yesterday's event was on KMTV. So if you want to rewatch the event from yesterday,
We are also on LNTV.
LNTV as well. So the public can
LNTV.
watch the competition if you can make it in person. So it's a great event. You really listen to these entrepreneurs. But it is quite exciting to be here, and really thankful to the US8 family and our partners at Etihad for supporting this initiative. And we're hoping that we can take all of the learnings from this year and even make next year's process better and much more open as well. So
Thank
watch
you.
out for the next process, tentatively early next year.
Thank you, Mr. Sibi.
Yeah, I think smallholder farmers, one of the major challenges have been creating access to market. That has been one of the major challenges. And with a lot of these innovations coming out in these young entrepreneurs, now moving into value addition, that creates a kind of very unique access for smallholder farmers. The competition, as I said, continues today and tomorrow. Then we're going to be having some reflections, and then we kick off with the next round. We're looking at now the next cohort through these incubators. How can we start preparing for the application and the recruitment process for maybe either early January or maybe mid-January? But we have like two more cohorts to go.
Okay.
So the next cohort going to start hopefully by January. And so we're just encouraging everyone to keep their ears open out for the application processes across the country. And the thing is that it's got across the country. And so we are in the 15 counties. It's kind of demand driven, all value chains of agriculture. And so you just have to make sure that, yes, you have an idea and you want to market that idea. So yes, let me just say thank you to you and the team for allowing us this opportunity.
Thank you.
you.
Director?
Yeah, on behalf of everyone who works at the U.S. Embassy, I'd like to congratulate Amanda and Gerald for a truly impressive vision of what their companies can be and what they can contribute to Liberia's future. Really, these two are just a couple of the thousands of Liberians who are every day working to create the Liberia we all want to see. So, we're very proud to support these two. We will continue to support Liberian entrepreneurs. And everyone at USAID and the U.S. Embassy is proud to stand by outstanding young people who are contributing to Liberia's future.
Thank you so much. It was wonderful having all of you this morning.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you.
Okay. But that's how we come to the end of the Super Morning Show this morning. You can join us tomorrow morning at 6:30 for another edition of the program. Thanks to Damawa Fufana, who has been on social media. Until tomorrow, my name is Melvin Stewart, bidding you a very pleasant